Hello everyone and welcome to the DeHart house. My name is Alicia and I'm your host of this crafty channel here on YouTube. I have officially started my summer vacation. I just finished grading final exams and posting grades and doing all the calculations and writing messages. And now I have time to sit down and record my summer making plans video, which I totally intended to have done and posted already at this point because June 20th on the calendar was the first day of summer. And it is now past that. But yeah, so I'm sitting down to record this now and I want to take you through my making plans for the summer season. So a little bit of information before I dive into the list. Seasonal making plans are something new that I'm trying out this year. I'm hoping that by making a list each season, it will help me kind of focus my crafting to be a little bit more intentional and focused on that season at hand. So right now I'm kind of spending a lot of time thinking about my wardrobe. So with summer season coming up, kind of what types of things do I like to wear in the summer? What things do I feel like I could use more of in my wardrobe, or something I just don't even have that I want to add? Like a couple of years ago, I knit my first skirt and I kind of added a knit skirt to my wardrobe. In fact, it's the only skirt in my wardrobe that I like wearing. So there we go. But yeah, just, kind of things like that. Another thing to kind of preface this video is that this summer is going to be a little bit unique in that I have plans to be away from home. My mom is having surgery and I'm going to be going to help out the family during that time. She will be unable to put weight on her new ankle for quite some time. So there will be some time where I'm not in complete control of what my day looks like. And so I'm not sure how much crafting I'm going to be able to do. Maybe a lot, maybe a little. It's up in the air. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as I plan out my summer. I don't want to set myself up to have all these ambitions and then not be able to do them and, only put one thing on my list and then I'm crazy bored after I finish the one thing. So anyway, let's see what ended up on my list. So number one on my 2024 summer making list is the Luminous Tee by Yamagara. This is a interesting construction kind of pattern. So that's what really, first thing that drew me to it is like the chevron patterning that's happening in the design. I think that's really cool. And then as I read the description a little bit, it sounds like the construction is interesting. Like by interesting, I don't mean it's just bottom up or just top down. There's more to it than that going on. So that kind of fascinated me. This pattern calls for fingering weight yarn somewhere between 623 and 1537 yards. That's a weird way to say that number. 623 and 1537 yards. The pattern is written with 7 size options. And those 7 size options range from bust size 33 and 3/4 inches up to 58.5 inches, which is pretty good. Needle sizes, it calls for US 3 and US 4. And you need a crochet hook as well because, again, interesting construction. So crochet hook size G, which is a 4mm hook. The suggested amount of ease is 2 to 6 inches, which sounds very comfortable to me. So the yarn in the pattern, the suggested yarn, I forgot to write it down, but it's a blend kind of yarn. And I like the garment having a bit of ease to it because when garments are like super close to my body, I feel like it holds in a lot of heat. But if there's just a little bit of ease, it makes it a little bit more flowy and cool, and air can get in there and move around. So I like the idea of this having a bit of ease, excuse me, to it. So yeah, I went into my stash behind me and I started trying to pick out some colors. I need to actually, I'd like to actually print the pattern on paper and go through it more. I'm not entirely sure. From what I recall, I should be able to make my size with only 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, which I don't know that that's true. I don't know that I believe that with my size. So I need to read that again, but I'm trying to go through my stash and find what am I going to make this project out of. So I'm still sorting that out, but as soon as I figure out the yarn, I'm going to cast that on. The second item on my summer making list, honestly, I went back and forth on a few things. There have been a lot of videos posted about, you know, things to make for summer, and 2 big designers that keep coming up are Petite Knits and My Favorite Things. And everything is beautiful and wonderful and looks amazingly stellar on the super skinny models. So sometimes it is hard for someone who wears a large, extra large kind of size, like myself, to wonder, like, is that gonna work for me? Right. But after watching quite a few videos, hearing feedback from folks who've like, oh, here are the patterns I've made before, what I like and don't like about them, and I went through a bunch of those, and finally I settled on number 2, the Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit. This pattern, I need to read more about it, but this one is not a super interesting construction, but I do like the fact that it has a v-neck. You know, t-shirts, I'm wearing one now, they're all like this rounded neck, which is fine, but I don't have many v-neck t-shirts, and I do like them. You know, it opens up the chest without all this fabric here. I think that'll be really nice in the warmer months, and like I said, I just don't have many of them in my wardrobe. I feel like there's a lot of flexibility on the type of yarn I could use for this. The pattern calls for a light fingering weight yarn, somewhere between 1,094 and 1,640 yards. The suggested yarn in particular is one that's 100% silk, knitting for olive pure silk. And I think that would be an amazing top. I don't know that I'm going to make it out of 100% silk, but in the other podcasts I've been watching, going through like the summer knits, some people have made this out of like 100% merino or 50% merino, 50% cotton, and they've talked about like why they like the different qualities in that garment. So I think there's a lot of flexibility with that depending on what purpose I want this garment to serve. So I'm going to play around with that. The pattern has 7 sizes available. Bust sizes 31.5 to 51.25 inches. Suggested needle sizes 2.5 and 1.5. So pretty small gauge on that one, and I think that's a part of what makes it look so polished and nice, so I'm up for it. The suggested ease is 1.25 to 3.5 inches. I think that's very reasonable, enough to get the looseness, but not be oversized. So I think it's going to be something that I could wear to dress up or dress down. And I did put a third item on my summer making list. It's a hopeful third item. It is called Zen with a Twist by Hintermstein, and it's a, wow, that word just blew out of my brain. I don't remember. It's a sleeveless top. Tank top. So I have 2 t-shirts on the list and a tank top. I have some tank tops, but they're mostly like my athletic wear with the athletic fabric that's all, you know, sweat wicking and all that wonderful stuff, which I don't feel is appropriate to wear really anywhere except working out and like running to the grocery store super quick. So those things have a limited use in my wardrobe, so I feel like it would be nice to have a tank top that's a little more dressy, right? But sometimes it's nice with the layering to not have sleeves. I do have literally one tank top in a nice neutral color. It's black, and I can wear it underneath like a cardigan and just reduce the amount of layering on my arms. So I still get the layered look without my arms feeling restricted and warm and all of that stuff when it's getting warm outside. Yeah, so anyway, this pattern also calls for fingering weight yarn, so they're all fingering weight. This is a little different than past lists. Somewhere between 770 and 1,550 yards, which makes sense. There's no sleeves. It's just a tank top. The description on the pattern did mention there's a little bit of flexibility in the pattern, that you can choose some of the shape of the tank top as well as the length. So you can make it more cropped or longer. So it makes sense that the range on this yardage is so wide because of those things. There aren't many details just on the Ravelry details page. I think I'm going to have to actually purchase the pattern to learn a little bit more about it, which I tried doing just now, but our internet has been in and out the last couple of days, which made posting grades really annoying today. But anyway, yeah, so what I can see is that there are 9 sizes available in this pattern, so a little bit more than the others. Bust sizes range from 32 inches up to 60 inches, so this is a more size-inclusive pattern than the other 2 that I listed. Not saying the other 2 are bad, I'm just saying this one has more options. US 4 is the recommended needle size, so not a super tight gauge. That should help it go more quickly. Also give a little airiness to the fabric, in that it'll be at a looser gauge. Suggested ease, I put question mark because I don't think I can see that till I buy the pattern, because I don't see it listed on the Ravelry details page. But from what it looks like in the project pages, that might be part of the shape options as well. So there could be a good reason why that isn't on the details page, because maybe the suggested ease is different for the different shape options. So I won't know until I purchase the pattern and take a look, but it looks very simple but classic. Not but, simple and classic. I think if I make it in a nice neutral color, that I would be able to pair it with a lot of things. There were 4 different yarns suggested. One of them is Knit Picks Gloss Fingering, which I was just looking at earlier today, and so I was like, it's a sign. I think I should probably use that. I have none of that in my stash, so I'll have to actually buy some. But yeah, Knit Picks tends to offer really good colors, reasonable prices on the yarn. I'm located in the United States. In fact, I'm even in Washington, and I think Knit Picks is based in Washington, which means really nothing, except it's easy for me to access. They don't have a shop. I wish I could go like to Knit Picks in person, but it's not a thing. So anyway, those are the items on my summer making list for 2024. They are 3 garments. They're all 3 knitting projects, and I think all 3 patterns are ones that I'm gonna have to purchase because I don't own any of them. So yeah, last season I had all free patterns, and this season they're gonna be all paid for patterns, apparently. Just funny how that works out. Yeah, so summer, dates of summer, sorry, gotta flip back to my page, on the calendar, June 20th to September 22nd. And I find this so funny, our school calendar, so I teach for a living, our school, we're on the quarter system for our 2-year college, and the dates of summer on the calendar, the season of summer, June 20 to September 22. June 20th was when we had our final exams for spring quarter. Okay. September 23rd is our first day of class in the fall. So my summer break is the summer season, which I just find hilarious. Anyway, so those are my plans. I'm hoping that I'll be able to make all 3 garments because I do have that bit of traveling and I'm not entirely sure how long I'll be away. The initial plan is like 3 weeks, but who knows? So I definitely want to have at least bare minimum 1 item from this list already cast on to pack with me on that trip. Ideally, I'd like to also take yarn and needles for a second item. And if I can knock out 2 out of the 3 in the first month, that would be amazing. And if not, if I can get through 1 and like start the second one, that'd be cool. Or even just make 1. We shall see, but you guys know when we're traveling and away from my stash, it can be hard to plan for the next project and things like that. So I want to kind of get those ducks in a row. But since I'm also leaving my garden and my house and my husband and my dog, I kind of need to plan all of those aspects before I leave. So there's a few doctor's visits I have to get in before I go and things like that. So let's hope I get everything done before I leave that I need to get done. If you're making plans for the summer, I would love to hear about them. Feel free to pop comments down below and share out with the community what you're planning or what you've already started, or knit-alongs that you're joining. There are a lot of knit-alongs, spin-alongs. I would love to do the Tour de Fleece thing, but that with traveling sounds like an overwhelming fiber madness experience that I'm just not up for this year. But if you're able to participate in such events like that, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for stopping in to see what I'm up to, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Be safe, be healthy. I said that in the wrong order, but enjoy your crafts, whatever they may be. Bye.